Okay, welcome to another episode of the Bio Biogenesis podcast. Yeah, I don't know why I struggled with that. Okay, today we have Beza and Bahar and yours truly for today's episode. How are you guys doing?
I'm fine. Feel
Hello,
exciting.
I am also fine.
How's the summer vacation going up till now?
It was fun. I saw that I really needed that vacation,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm ready for school now.
Yeah, of course, a medicine student. Oh my God. All power to you. Bahar, how about you?
My vacation is also going good. Actually, I am resting and at the same time I am studying, I am working, all of them in the same way.
What
I
about you,
try
Tarek?
mostly because as Beza mentioned, we need also rest before studying. And mostly I am in the seaside. Yeah.
It's
Okay,
good.
that's
Tarek,
very
what
good
about
to know. Um, it's good. It's good, like, studying a little bit, um, going out a little bit, doing a little bit of everything, preparing for next year. It's all good. It's all good, doing great. And of course, doing what we're gonna talk about now, which is improve our health day by day. Now, last episode we talked about what habits we can do to improve our health, our daily habits to improve our health, exercising, sleeping, all the habits that will go positively regarding our health and our body's nature. That includes the circadian rhythm. When we talked about sleep, for example, we talked about circadian rhythm.
Mhm.
Um, we need to sleep at specific periods of time to wake up at specific periods of time. There's a rhythm for the body and we don't need to disturb it. So that's one of the things we discussed last time. But this episode, we're going to talk more about food, more about what we consume and we put on us because our body absorbs basically, and we need to take care of that. So, last time we talked about GMOs. That's what we finished the episode with. But this time we're going to talk about processed food. What do you guys know about processed foods?
I think everything we eat affects our body. So also processed food affects too, but I think not in a good way.
Hmm.
So um, natural foods are better, I think. Um, and if I can talk about the how food affects us, we absorb all of these. The body use everything of foods, try to use, and of course, these foods are used for energy, and we take energy also from oxygen, from mitochondria, and um, the mitochondrial process uh, produce free oxygen radicals. And these free oxygen radicals are actually normal things. But if these increase in our body by foods or by environmental things, it affects in a bad way our proteins, our DNA, our cell membrane. So the food is being more important in this process actually because these oxygen radicals uh, can damage all of these. I talked, for example, DNA membrane and proteins. So we can actually decrease this damage by foods we are taking. And this day I can talk about these foods, and we are calling them antioxidants. Um, Actually, the free oxygen radicals are important to support our immune system But if they are so increased, they are bad for immune system. So we can decrease this damage with eating fresh vegetables or fruits. Especially the green-leafed vegetables are important. And there are some vitamins, A, C, E vitamins, or flavonoids, beta carotenes, glutathione, like this. Or we can consume egg and milk and some strawberry, orange, lemon, pepper, carrot, like this. And we know they are all healthy foods. And if we just eat processed foods, and if we don't eat these, we can make faster the damage to DNA of us. So I can say these foods are important, and if we don't consume antioxidants, actually the estimate of cancer can be increased also. So not only for cancer, we can consume all of these antioxidant foods for also decreasing the percent of cardiovascular system diseases, or there are also Alzheimer and Parkinson diseases, and these antioxidants are also prevent these diseases. And I can also say that between eating these antioxidant foods, we should be far away from something like cigarettes, alcohol, and environmental pollution, heavy metals, and radiation. Some of them also directly affect our DNA. So also, if we have infections constantly, it can affect our DNA in a bad way too. And of course, lack of antioxidants can affect our DNA directly. So these are, I can say, about foods to prevent our DNA from the bad effects of free oxygen radicals.
Okay. Well, you mentioned antioxidants, but well, as we said before in the previous episode, we also got GMOs, so you gotta also be careful from the GMOs antioxidants, like for example, cherries, or as you said, the rest of the fruits that you mentioned. The problem is that not only GMOs, but sometimes they are carrying some things that are harmful. Like for example, here in Turkey, I think multiple times there were problems with what's it called? Strawberries, I think. They kept warning that strawberries were causing some sort of disease.
I didn't hear. Probably it can be.
Yeah, Bahar, I think you heard of it?
Actually, I don't know this is special for Turkey or not, but I have heard about strawberries harmful side. We should be care about strawberries.
Yeah. And also you talked about heavy metals, which how can I say? It was researched actually. For example, on the ways to the metros and stuff, on the Metrobus and stuff, like there are some stalls that are selling midye or clams. Yeah. Actually, these clams are containing heavy metals. It was confirmed that they contain heavy metals, and they just keep fishing them and getting them out so people eat them, getting the people
Yes.
hurt themselves. So this is a very problematic issue these days. But
Actually, yeah, we are not aware of these in a daily day, but they are little things and they accumulate. And we will just be aware of these in the future if we have a disease. So before having a disease, probably we should care about this.
yes, absolutely. Now, Bahar,
Yeah.
what do you think? Yeah. Continue.
Okay. Ask a question. Maybe we will talk about same thing.
Yeah. Continue. No, I would have asked something else actually, but go ahead.
Okay. Actually, I want to talk all of the things that Faisal talked about health and food, our genes, and terms of DNA. Last time I watched one TED Talk. It was the international thing, and the topic was about that how genetic and environment work together to shape our destiny, and that epigenetic side can be also the food, sports, what we smoke, even air and other things. Um, the woman told that every single type of thing, like what we eat, what we breathe, what we drink, what we eat, they can really affect our DNA. And actually, they were able to observe that change. How? In the laboratory. Firstly, they are looking at the cells. Like we know that every single cell have their own DNA in the nucleus. They looked at, and then they are comparing that cell with another cell, which cause damage by the food, like not protecting their health in a healthy way. They observed that if the DNA damage, they will become some tails from the cell. And when they observe that, they are thinking about that person can some health problem, and that health problem, all of them, like they conclude that experiment in that laboratory that epigenetics can have the main role in our health. Like they are the connection maybe from the environment to our DNA, like our genes, and they want to show that there's something above our genome. Like they also looked at that kind of thing. They did experiment with twins. Although the twins were born with the same genome, same DNA, but after that, one of that twin was the susceptible to different disease, and in some cases, they can die before the first twin. Actually, they experimented that. Um, yeah, like one grandmother came to my apartment.
It's all right.
It's okay.
Um, yeah. Actually, they want to say that what we eat, what we breathe, they can affect our DNA, although we don't have any effect on ourselves, but it can cause to our some descendants, like our um, so long relatives it can affect. And also, I have taken some notes that like all of them, like for example, we can say that environment can be the bridge between the genome and also surrounding our environment, and that genome can be um, like even gender, age, food, drugs, social factors, even economical factors can affect to our DNA. So therefore, we should care about our DNA because this is not for just ourselves. We can pass something with our DNA to other descendants, and all of them that we talk about now, they are related to our health. If we want to make a bright future for all over the world, we should be care about um, ourselves firstly and for the future bright.
Of course, that is of course correct. And like also to add on to all of this, like we were talking about the types of food, I just remembered something that is also something very important, which is conserved food. I wanted to add this because this is actually one of the biggest reasons why it's how can I say it's dangerous, which is conserved food because like I know it has a long shelf life, but well, it hurts you basically because of how how can I say because of the chemicals it's put into to conserve it. At the end of the day, you're eating these chemicals. Um, as well as I wanted to add this too, which is uh, some researchers are saying to be careful with makeup too, because the skin absorbs makeup. Because makeup is chemicals, and your skin is basically absorbing them, and they're not getting rid of them. They're actually storing them the same way, not the same way, definitely, but in the same manner as, for example, radiation. Because if the body gets exposed to radiation, the body cannot get rid of this radiation, but it just gets stored inside the body. At the end of the day, it gets all stored in the bones, making them, well, making the person incredibly unhealthy and very unstable in terms of health. So I think that's also something to add. Uh, what else?
And I think
Mm,
in this process, being avoided from, dangerous foods, we can firstly check out our life, what we are eating in outside or at home. For example, there are so much snacks, coffees, and even juices. So maybe one by one, we can try to avoid from our lives. For example, we can avoid processed, and there are lots of chemicals and protectors in juices. We
conserved, yeah,
can
conserved, yeah.
conserve. We can use handmade juices. Or, for example, last month I left using Nescafe because it was having a damage in our brain in a long time. So I tried to pass to filter coffee or Turkish coffee. Maybe we can change our preferences and be healthier. Maybe it is not also the most healthy food or drink, but we can try to make it healthier. I can add this.
Okay. Because now I would like to just make it clear to the people listening, as in why do we need to change? Other than the things that we stated, by the way, the diseases, the cancer, and everything, there is actually other very visible, how can I say, very clear symptoms happening in our society these days. That includes morphological changes, changes in the body structure. Now, scientists were comparing bones and like yeah, mainly bones and skeletons basically, compared from 500 years ago and today's skeletons. They noticed that everything is getting smaller. Our bodies are getting smaller basically. Day by day, generation by generation, the bodies are getting smaller. Now, one of the very obvious and clear reasons for this is actually the jaw. The jaw and the skull, they're actually getting smaller in a way that old skeletons were showing that teeth were having places to grow out. Teeth were having, like, the teeth are all in perfect order. They're like very nice, like like very little changes might happen, but they wouldn't be considered like fatal compared to these days. Like, for example, these days the wisdom tooth mostly don't have places to grow in our jaws. Doctors will have to remove them or do something about them. Back in the day, wisdom tooth weren't, I don't think they were labeled because they just were considered as like just like any other tooth, you know? They were just growing out and that's it. Which seems to be a very big problem, including, as I said, the decrease of size, morphological size for people. So the presence, the effect of processed foods and conserved foods and modified foods are very obvious. The problem now gets to the solution. The solution is, well, we cannot stop producing processed foods or modified foods because the demand is way too high for people to actually be able to do anything regarding it. So for everyone listening, I would suggest go for natural as much as possible. Source your food as much as possible. Try and eat organic if you can. And of course, as we said, the bad habits, including smoking and excessive artificial substances, their application on the body also needs to be decreased. That includes, for example, creams or makeup or anything like putting at small quantities would be nice. Anything more than that, you should be careful for skin absorption. Now, if I would suggest anything to put as creams, I would suggest UV creams, sunscreens, let's say, because they actually showed a good impact how can I say, a good response towards the health. Because scientists actually applied on one of the patient's sunscreen only half of his face, and the other half remained exposed, not covered. After a while, they saw that the skin on the uncovered side was actually starting to loosen up, becoming, old. The skin becomes saggy a little bit. Yeah, while the right side was maintained perfectly. There, it was preserved basically. So I would suggest sunscreen, yes, due even the ozone layer is being attacked and everything. So sunscreen is a good idea. But other than that, I suggest you to be very, very careful with what you apply on your skin. As well as foods, as I said.
Actually,
Anyone else?
Tarek,
Yeah.
add also something like um approximately on my 17th years, I browsed like I searched something on our makeup or other things because we were trying to use them and I want to search because all of our parents say that yeah, we can be look better, but it can have some harmful effects. So therefore I want to search something on internet, and I saw just one picture like they use the microscope with our skin. Actually, when we do makeup, but after the using that, we want to clean it. Although there is the best cleaner thing, we can't clean it in a better way. Something can catch with our skin, and when they looked at with under the microscope, like when I saw that, I was so like shocked, like how when I am cleaning, but we see that we cleaned that our face, like skin can be clean, but the many little things can catch with our skin, and with the time it can cause the cancer and other things like as you mentioned, the makeup also can have some harmful effects. I don't say that don't use makeup and other things because all of us, like the girls, use that. But maybe we should be care about their quality, like German or like some the companies are the better for that makeup things.
Hmm.
Like today we can be look better, but after that it can cause the cancer or other health problems, skin problems. So like I am the one who saw the picture under the microscope, so I am totally agree with your makeup point and also other points.
Hmm. Because at the end of the day, we're applying something to our skin, and it works the exact same way as a tattoo. A tattoo, how does tattoos work? Tattoos, well, the skin absorbs, what's it called? Absorbs the ink, and it gets like between the holes within the skin. So, like, how can I say? I know it's not as how can I say, as seeping into the skin as a tattoo. I know that creams and makeup are not the same way as a tattoo because tattoos are fluid more than creams, but it works in the same manner. It is still something that gets absorbed within the skin. It is still something that um if not cleansed properly, if not taken care of properly, if not managed and regulated, it will be actually working the same way as a tattoo. But yeah, that's mainly it. So, as a conclusion to this episode, I would say that be very careful with what you do or what you do and what you take and what you apply. Be careful of your habits. Be careful of what you take into your body. Make sure it's natural, make sure it's sourced, make sure it's organic, chemical free, not modified, etc. And make sure that whatever you apply onto your body goes within amounts, goes regulated, and goes how can I say? Goes checked. Because like even deodorant, for example. Because there was one case that a guy died of a heart attack, I think, or cardiac arrest due to an excessive application of deodorant. He just kept applying it so much that it was absorbed into the body, taken within the blood vessels, into the heart, causing him to have a cardiac arrest. And that's because of a deodorant, not because of anything else. So make sure you do everything within a specific amount, and within, like, how can I say, within regulation. Anyone else would like to add any more points to the conclusion?
I think if we put the health for our first priority, we can have enough time to produce some healthy foods at home, because mostly people say, I don't have enough time to make my own yogurt, for example, and I have to buy it from outside. Or just about this makeup, maybe they can search some makeups which are more natural. If we put the health for our first priority, I think we have enough time, enough money, so we can do it, I think. We can keep healthy.
And I also want to add something as a conclusion. Like we are, as a biogenesis team, we are working with DMD disease, like diet, healthy food, natural food, not using the conserved or GMOs, some GMOs. I also want to advise, especially as a biogenesis team, like for all of us, but especially I want to advise for the DMD patients, like it's also beneficial to them with using under diet, because they use some drugs in order to make their life longer a little bit, but that drug can cause a fat on them. So at that time, diet will help them. Now, like we can say that as Beyza, health should be our first priority.
Exactly. Because, well, as Bahar mentioned or referenced, DMD also can come from such thing, from like a
Yeah.
bad diet. Maybe not in your generation, but the next generation is definitely exposed to such thing. And that will be it. This is the second episode. This is the continuation of the last episode, and hope you all enjoyed listening to this episode. And see you next time.
Thank you for
Goodbye.
listening.
Thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.